Hi, everyone, and thank you for attending today. I'm Elise Avallon. I'm the Manager of Certification Marketing at the Global Seafood Alliance. And today I'll be talking about the results from our first consumer-facing campaign that we conducted in October for National Seafood Month last year. And just a note that we will be sending a recording of this webinar to all registrants, so you can expect to see that in your inbox within the next week or so. So this is what's on the agenda for the webinar today, and we will leave some time at the end of the presentation for questions. So if you think of some as I'm going through the slides, please just put those in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them at the end. So I want to start by talking about our objectives for the campaign. Our three main objectives were to educate consumers about responsibly farmed seafood and what the BAP label means, to build confidence in products and retailers who use and promote the BAP label, and of course to ultimately drive sales of seafood from BAP certified producers during National Seafood Month and beyond. And for this first campaign, we focused on the United States, as you can find BAP products in most grocery stores across the country. So our main call to action of look for the label is something that people could do regardless of where they're located. For our target audience, we focused on millennials. Millennials have major buying power, and they're also the fastest growing demographic of seafood consumers. And through market research, we found that they have the highest recognition of the BAP label. And we also found that about half already purchase seafood and eat it at least occasionally. And half also said that the BAP label makes them think more positively of their retailer. And just a note that the research that I'm alluding to was conducted in 2021, and 3,000 U.S. consumers were surveyed. The campaign theme that we chose was Healthy Fish, Healthy Planet, Healthy You. And we chose this theme because health obviously is a main reason that people choose to eat seafood, and it speaks to the four pillars of the BAP program, which are environmental responsibility, social accountability, food safety, and animal welfare. And for our campaign graphics, we really wanted a design that was clean and made the food the hero and spoke to those three elements of the campaign theme. And we also provided supplemental messaging for each element of the theme in our campaign toolkit. So these are the tactics that we used for the campaign. For content creation, we developed new messaging. We created a toolkit, as I just said, with new assets. And we also created a new consumer-facing website. And on social media, we launched a campaign using the hashtag #AreYouAquacultured, which I'll talk more about. We also worked with 5 influencers who created recipes using BAP seafood. And this was also the first time that we worked with a PR agency who developed a media list and pitches for consumer-facing media outlets. And 8 retail and food service companies participated in the campaign, and I'll speak to some of the ways that they participated in a little bit. As part of our campaign toolkit, we created a variety of assets, including point-of-sale materials for in-store, digital assets, graphics for social media, like these recipe carousels and GIFs. And we also created a video animation that explains what the BAP label means. We also had a recipe developer create 6 recipes that live on our consumer website. And just a side note, if you're interested in accessing these materials, we do have an evergreen version of this toolkit available on the BAP website that you can access on the resources page. And that's on our bapcertification.org website. So as I said, we launched a consumer-facing website last summer, and we really felt like our bapcertification.org website was too B2B and technical for this consumer audience. So we really needed a place that consumers could go to learn more about the program, find recipes, learn about the nutritional benefits of seafood, and also just more about aquaculture in general. And you can access it via that URL, bap.globalseafood.org, and it will be continuously updated with new content. So we're encouraging our retail and food service endorsers, as well as certified producers, to link to this site, especially if they have pages that are more consumer facing. Now I want to talk about the results of the campaign. So as I mentioned earlier, we worked with a PR agency that was pitching stories to consumer-facing media outlets. And I think the results of this piece of the campaign really speak for themselves. Just looking at the September 15th to November 15th period, we had a reach of 7.3 billion for the articles that BAP was mentioned in, which was a total of 1,000 media mentions. And just comparing this to the same time period in 2021, we saw a 160% increase in media mentions, which you can see on those charts there. And the blue bars represent article count and the yellow line is reach. And so we're really pleased with these results, and PR is something that we want to continue to invest in moving forward. These are a few examples of the media stories that BAP was mentioned in. There was an article published by Food Tank about the campaign in the consumer-facing website. Steve Headland, our communications and events manager, was interviewed live on Good Day Seattle about BAP and the push for responsible seafood practices, which was exciting. And the Washington Post published an article about how to buy shrimp that Steve was also quoted in. And we also had Mia Sin, who is a registered dietitian, speak on multiple TV segments about healthy eating that featured products from BAP certified producers and talked about what the BAP label means. So shortly after we launched our consumer-facing website, we launched a campaign on social media, as I said, using the hashtag #AreYouAquacultured, with the goal of educating consumers about the BAP program, sharing recipes, nutritional information, and just general facts about aquaculture. And from when we launched that campaign to mid-November, we had a reach of about 1 million on social media, and we plan to continue to use this hashtag throughout the year, this year, with our more educational content. So I want to give some examples of some of our top posts. So these were a few of our top performing posts on Facebook. And as you can see, they're all beautiful photos of recipes, which didn't really come as a surprise to me. I think we all love looking at beautiful food photography. There's a shrimp ceviche recipe, there's shrimp scampi, a deviled eggs recipe with salmon, and a post about oysters. And you'll see on this next slide that we had similar results on Instagram. Again, beautiful food photography. We have a mussels photo that we paired with some nutritional information, a salmon avocado toast recipe, a collaboration post we did with Regal Springs Europe, and a post about mussels. So you can see that there's a clear trend here with the content that people interacted with. For influencers, we specifically found people located in the same geographic regions as some of the companies that participated in the campaign, and we asked each of them to create recipes using BAP seafood that came from one of those participating retailers. And so they created these recipes and they tagged both BAP and the retailer in their post on Instagram. And in total, we had 3 shrimp recipes and 2 salmon recipes, and collectively they had 338,000 impressions. These are the companies that participated in the campaign, and they did so in a variety of ways, which I'll talk about. And I just want to say thank you to these folks for their participation. They really helped us, increase the reach of the campaign and made an effort to educate their customers about BAP. So now I'll share a few ways that some of these companies participated. So Cub is a retailer located in Minnesota and Illinois, and they shared content about the campaign on 12 of their web pages, including making 4 of our recipes shoppable on their website. They also shared recipes on their Facebook and Instagram accounts and via placements in their coupon emails, which are their best performing emails. And they also worked with one of the influencers who created a panko crusted salmon recipe. Giant Eagle is another company that participated in the campaign. They have more than 200 locations in the US, and they posted on social media, and they also created their own video about BAP that they showed in select stores, as well as featured in their October newsletter with content about why you should look for the label. And they also worked with an influencer who created a delicious citrus shrimp salad recipe. Secret Island is Salmones Austral's direct-to-consumer salmon brand, and they're 4-star BAP certified. And last year, they launched a new product line with Atlantic salmon portions, salmon burgers, salmon bacon, a variety of products. And as part of the campaign, they launched a whole ad series with the BAP label and participated in our Are You Aquacultured campaign. And they also launched a new website with a page dedicated to BAP and explains what the BAP label means. And their products were also featured in the segments that I talked about earlier with dietitian Mia Sin, and she also posted about their products on her Instagram as well. And then the last example I'll talk about is Winco Foods. They have more than 130 locations in the US, and they participated by posting on social media. They also updated messaging on their website about responsible seafood. And they also worked with an influencer who created a honey walnut shrimp recipe. And what was great is that she also showed herself going into the store and picking up the product. So I want to talk about some key takeaways from this campaign that we are keeping in mind going forward. The first is that PR pays off, especially when, one of our main goals was to increase brand awareness. I really think PR was a tactic that was necessary. And as I said, it's something that we want to continue to invest in. Second is that, as I said, our recipe content performed best, which again was not surprising to me. I think food photography is something we all love looking at. And this year we plan to continue to develop our own recipes. And we also want to share more recipe content from our certified producers because they have that content and it's really a win-win. We get to highlight them on our channels and the good work that they're doing, and we get to share a delicious recipe. Third is that we've received feedback from some folks that want to see more content that highlights the people behind the products. People want to know who's producing the products they're buying. What does a fish farm look like? What does a fish farmer look like? This is the kind of content that we want to share more of. And to the certified producers that are listening right now and want to get involved, please reach out to me. Fourth is that more lifestyle content is needed. And an example of that would be, as I said, that influencer who showed herself going into the store, picking up the product, showing the label on the packaging, and then showing herself cooking it at home. It's really that type of authentic content that resonates with people, and it's less about creating that perfect, beautiful looking plate and more about creating approachable recipes that people can actually cook themselves. And that kind of ties into number 5, which is that people want to follow influencers that they can genuinely relate to. And I think we're seeing a shift away from brands using celebrity influencers, and it's more about using influencers that are relatable. And then lastly is, there's always going to be work that needs to be done to combat misinformation about aquaculture. And this part is anecdotal, but I really believe that attitudes towards farmed seafood have improved. And one thing that we make an effort to post about with our content is also the fact that we need both wild and farmed seafood. It's not about wild versus farmed. It's about how we need both for a more sustainable food system. So now I want to talk about our plans for campaigns this year. We're planning 3 campaigns, one in March for Nutrition Month, one in June for Oceans Month, and then one again in October for Seafood Month. So for March, we really want to focus on the nutritional benefits of seafood, include tips from dietitians, and also, the benefits of eating seafood at least twice a week. And in June, we want to focus more on content that explains why seafood is an environmentally conscious option, as well as highlight our certified producers and show consumers that behind the scenes content that I talked about of how responsible seafood gets to your plate. And then October will be our biggest promotional period. And again, we plan to release a toolkit with different assets for folks who want to get involved. And then lastly, I wanted to introduce our theme for Nutrition Month, which is Sustained by Seafood. And we chose this theme because we feel that it speaks to how seafood sustains your health and provides sustenance. And it also alludes to how the oceans sustain us. And it encompasses all seafood. So it's not just about farmed or wild. And again, if you're looking to get involved, I have my contact information on this next slide here. And now we can open it up to questions. So again, if you have any, please just put them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. Thank you.